Hello everyone, this is Jaya Sharma, PGT English, and this video is being presented to you by One Marks Solution. And today we have brought for you few questions which are related with the chapter Long Walk to Freedom from your book First Flight, right? So Nelson Mandela's Long Walk to Freedom is being dealt here, and we are here with few multiple choice questions. So here we go. Let us start. The first question has asked you, how does Nelson Mandela define the meaning of courage? A. It is not the absence of fear, but actually a triumph over the latter. B. It is a triumph over the perpetrators of oppression. C. It is a victory over selfishness. And D. It signifies victory in wars and battles. The stem says, how does Nelson Mandela define the meaning of courage? And therefore, if you look at option number A says, it is not the absence of fear, but actually a triumph over the latter. Okay, so if you have read the text carefully, you will come to know that actually option A is correct. Although, as I had told you earlier, we need to look and examine all the options, right? It's a triumph over the perpetrators of oppression. No, he has not said anything like that. It is a victory over selfishness, or it signifies victories in wars and battles, right? After reading all the options carefully, we can conclude that option A is the correct answer. That is, it is not the absence of fear, but actually a triumph over the latter. Mandela has said that fear is a part of our life, but we should not escape from it. We need to have a triumph, a victory over the latter. Question number 2 has asked you, where did the inauguration ceremony of Nelson Mandela take place? Where did the inauguration ceremony of Nelson Mandela take place? A. Marble Towers, Johannesburg. B. Sandstone Amphitheatre, Union Buildings, Pretoria. C. Sandton City Office Tower, Sandton. And D. Old Mutual Center, Durban. Let us read the choices again. A. Marble Towers, Johannesburg. B. Sandstone Amphitheatre, Union Buildings, Pretoria. C. Sandton City Office Tower, Sandton. And D says Old Mutual Center, Durban. And the answer is Sandstone Amphitheatre, Union Buildings, Pretoria. Right here, the inauguration ceremony had taken place, and this is something which has been described in detail by Mandela in his autobiography. Right, let us move on to the next question. Question number 3, which has asked you, what is a country's greatest wealth according to Nelson Mandela? What is a country's greatest wealth? According to whom? According to Nelson Mandela, because he has mentioned this also, right? Option A, it's minerals, flora, and fauna. B, it's people who are the truest assets. C, it's technology and infrastructure. And D, it's administration and stature in the international market. Its minerals, flora, and fauna is the option A. People who are the truest assets, option number B. Technology and infrastructure, option C. And administration and stature in the international market. If you go through the content, the extract which has been taken out from Mandela's autobiography, then you must be aware that he has mentioned that people are the truest assets, the greatest wealth of any country. right? And he has mentioned several people who contributed richly in the liberation of South Africa, right? So the correct answer would be option number B, that is, it's people who are the truest assets. Number four, who, according to Mandela, is not free? The stem of this multiple choice question has asked you who, according to Mandela, is not free, right? Okay. A, the oppressor who needs to be liberated from the clutches of hatred. The oppressed who has borne the atrocities at the hands of his oppressor. Both the oppressor as well as the oppressed, prisoners of war. Children, I had told you earlier also, whenever you are attempting multiple choice questions, it is very important that you go through all the choices very carefully, right? So, the oppressor who needs to be liberated from the clutches of hatred, right? The oppressor has to be liberated from negative feelings, okay? But the oppressed also has to be liberated. The oppressed who has borne the atrocities at the hands of his oppressor, actually, the oppressor has borne several atrocities, some kind of trauma, some kind of, you can say, problems, some kind of discrimination. So the oppressed also is expecting, you can say, freedom and liberation. Therefore, the answer would be both the oppressor as well as the oppressed should be liberated, right? And both are not free if they are in the grip of either hatred or in the grip of atrocities or similar negative feelings. Therefore, the correct answer here would be number C, both the oppressor as well as the oppressed, right? Question number five has asked you. Now, this is a bit simple. I mean, it's simpler in comparison to the previous questions. Which party did Mandela join? A. Indian National Congress, African National Congress, National African Party, Republic Party of Africa Continent. A. Indian National Congress. Obviously, you can rule out this option. Reason, Mandela did not belong to India, right? But what about B, C, and D? African National Congress, National African Party, Republic Party of Africa Continent. Children, if you have read carefully the introductory part, which is given in your text, there's a brief introduction that is given in the text. If you have read, or if you have read about Nelson Mandela, then you must be aware that he was actually a member of the African National Congress. And I would suggest, children, that Nelson Mandela, he was not a fictional character, right? He has richly contributed not only to the emancipation of South Africa, but has set an example for the entire world. And therefore, I would suggest whenever you get time, you should read about these people. In that way, your general knowledge would be improved. First thing. And second thing will be that you will start taking interest in the current affairs. And moreover, as I told you, people like Mandela, or later on in the next chapter, you'll have Anne Frank, right? Such people are not fictional people. They have contributed tremendously. They have set examples in front of the entire world, and therefore you should read about them. Okay, Mandela belonged to the African National Congress. A bit of extra knowledge for you with the reference to this question. Let us move on to the next one. That is question number 6. What realizations did Mandela have of his boyhood freedom? What realizations did Mandela have of his boyhood freedom? It was just an illusion, option A. B, he was born free. C, freedom was meant for kids only. And D, it was related with entertainment and enjoyment. So, Actually, Mandela has, discussed in detail about freedom, and he has said that his boyhood freedom was actually just an illusion. He could understand the real meaning of freedom only when he grew up, when he saw the kind of trauma, the kind of, you can say, discrimination that was being practiced in South Africa, when he realized that his very identity was being questioned. It was then that he had realized that what actually freedom means, right? So he has said that about his boyhood freedom, he said it was just an illusion. Answer will be option number A. Question number 7 has asked you, why were two national anthems sung at the inauguration ceremony? A. To uphold unity and mutual respect for the white people as well as the dark skinned people of South Africa. B. To mark the end of racial discrimination in South Africa. C. To mark the end of gender discrimination in the country. And D says both A and B are correct. The STEM has asked you, why were two national anthems sung at the inauguration ceremony? To uphold unity and mutual respect for the white people as well as dark skinned people of South Africa, option A. B. To mark the end of racial discrimination in South Africa. C has got to mark the end of gender discrimination. We do not have any mention of gender discrimination in the text, but we do have come across unity and solidarity when he mentions the inauguration ceremony, which was being visited by so many people from foreign countries as well as the people of South Africa, right? And of course, it was something which was crucial from the point of view of being an indication and a flag bearer of an end. End of what? Racial discrimination in South Africa. Therefore, because both A and B are correct, and D says both A and B are correct. So, your correct choice here would be option D. Okay, are you getting my point? You see, statement A is also correct, statement B is also correct. If you read just these two statements initially, you may be pretty confused because obviously both of them will appear to be correct, right? As you move on to C, you will rule out this one. But as you come to D, you'll immediately realize that yes, both A and B are correct, and therefore D becomes the correct choice. That is, both A and B are correct. Question number 8 has asked you, what unintended? Focus on this word, unintended. Okay, effect did the decades of oppression and brutality had upon the indigenous population of South Africa? Now you need to, it's not that simple. You see, children, this question is not that simple. Although, if you people are studying with dedication and determination, it is not that difficult either. All I want to make you realize and all I want to emphasize upon is the more you study, the more you are observant and the more you're particular about the content, better will be your performance. Okay, so what unintended effect did the decades of oppression and brutality had upon the indigenous population of South Africa? A says it created men of extraordinary courage, wisdom and generosity in the country. B says poverty and sufferings multiplied in the country. C says boycott from foreign nations became a common phenomenon. And D says South Africans started to slowly adopt and adapt to the new impositions by the white government. I repeat, A says it created men of extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity in the country. Poverty and sufferings multiplied in the country. Boycott from foreign nations became a common phenomenon. South Africans started to slowly adopt and adapt to the new impositions by the white government. And the correct answer is it created men of extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity in the country. Right? When people had started observing that this kind of discrimination was detrimental to their country, it was in a way creating a void, a kind of, you can say, disturbance in their society. Then they became aware, they started getting conscious, and therefore they started exhibiting extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity related with the social affairs in the country. Question number 9. Question number 9 is extract based, students. You need to pay attention. This extract is being taken out from your content. See, let us read it. Let me first read it out for you. The structure they created formed the basis of one of the harshest, most inhumane societies the world has ever known. What structure is being mentioned by Mandela here? Let us read the extract again. The structure they created formed the basis of one of the harshest, most inhumane societies the world has ever known. What structure is being mentioned by Mandela here? A. Racial domination of non white people by the all white government in South Africa. B. Poverty and suffering that plagued South Africa. C. Discrimination against the poor and downtrodden people of Africa. And C says oppression of women and children in South Africa. Now, obviously, children, if you have done a thorough reading of the text, right? So you will first of all find out one difference. See, this is South Africa. This is also South Africa. This is also South Africa. Whereas option C has got just Africa. There's a difference between Africa and South Africa. Africa is a continent. Remember, children. Okay, Africa is a continent. South Africa is not a continent. Now we can just exclude option C. Let us focus upon A, B, and D. Racial domination of non white people by the all white government in South Africa, poverty and suffering that plagued South Africa, oppression of women and children in South Africa. If you've read from the beginning itself, it is actually focusing upon racial domination, which has a particular term as well, which we shall be discussing in next question probably. So the answer would be racial domination of non white people by the all white government in South Africa. This kind of a structure that was being created by the all white government in South Africa has been considered to be the harshest, one of the harshest and most inhumane societies in the world by Nelson Mandela. Okay, understood? Let's move on to the next question. Question number 10. What were the social problems that South Africa needed to be liberated from? What were the social problems that South Africa needed to be liberated from? A. Poverty. B. Gender discrimination. C. Deprivation. And D. All of the above. Poverty, gender discrimination, deprivation, and all of the above. And the answer is all of the above. Right? Okay. And one thing you would agree that countries do have these kinds of problems. In fact, some of them are common. Question number 11. Question number 11 is a bit long, right? The length of this question is a bit long. So, again, I would suggest read the question patiently. Rohit has to write a brief paragraph about Nelson Mandela. However, he's a bit confused as he does not have all information asked in the blanks. Help Rohit by selecting the best option. Let us read it again. What are you supposed to do? Rohit has to write a brief paragraph. About whom? Nelson Mandela. What is the problem then? Problem is he's a bit confused. And why? Because he does not have all the information asked in the blanks. So what are you supposed to do? You just have to help Rohit by selecting the best option. And this is the paragraph. This actually is a part of question only, children. You just have to fill the blanks. Okay. So let us read the paragraph first. Nelson Mandela had strongly opposed the racial discrimination policy called blank, okay, that was widespread in South Africa. He had to spend 30 years in prison, but he did not give up his social cause. It was due to the constant struggles of people like him that South Africa became a liberated nation. Mandela has described everything in detail in his blank entitled Long Walk to Freedom. So, students, this actually is your question in continuation, and you are supposed to fill up these two blanks. One is this one, and the other one is this one, right? Okay, so obviously, in the first one, they're talking about a discrimination policy, okay, and second one, if you read, Mandela has described everything in detail in his blank entitled Long Walk to Freedom. Let us look at the choices first. Help Rohit by selecting the best option. Human right violation, travelogue. Apartheid. How do you pronounce this word? It is actually apartheid. Okay? Apartheid and autobiography. Apartheid diary, non-alignment open letter, right? Option A, human rights violation, travelogue. Option B, apartheid autobiography. Option C, apartheid diary. Option D, non-alignment and open letter. So if we get back to this, right? So if you look at this slide again, the racial discrimination policy, which has been mentioned clearly in the text, is actually apartheid. Okay, so apartheid will come here, right? And then Mandela has described everything in detail in what? In Long Walk to Freedom. So, what is Long Walk to Freedom? Long Walk to Freedom is the name of his autobiography, children. This information is also given in the introductory part of your text, and that's why I have suggested read everything carefully. Your content is very enriching. Most of the questions can be solved only by a careful and thorough reading of the text. Therefore, option B, this question would be apartheid and autobiography. Apartheid, autobiography, option B. Question number 12 has asked you Nelson Mandela mentions twin obligations of every human being. What are they? Option A, responsibilities towards family and responsibilities towards nation. B, responsibility towards nature and society. C, responsibility towards neighbors and government. D, responsibility towards rules and regulations of a country. Now, you see, children, if we read the choices, the options, you see, we have responsibilities towards all of them. We do have responsibilities towards family, nation, nature, society, neighbors, our government, and the rules and regulations formulated by our country as well. But the question has asked you Nelson Mandela mentions, right? What you have to remember is Nelson Mandela mentions twin obligations of every human being. What responsibilities have been mentioned by Nelson Mandela? So he has actually focused upon responsibilities towards family and responsibility towards nation. Therefore, option A will be the answer. That is, responsibilities towards family and responsibilities towards nation. Question number 13. What is the significance of the clause? Now, this is also extract based. You see, what is the clause here? The sight of a rainbow gathering of different colors and nations. Okay. What is the significance of the clause? The sight of a rainbow gathering of different colors and nations refers to the inauguration ceremony. A says it implies beautiful rainbow had come up at the venue on that day. That means on the day of inauguration. B, all the dignitaries were dressed up in rich, vibrant attires for that special day. C, people of all races and colors exhibited unity and solidarity by attending the ceremony together. And D, South Africans had decorated the entire venue with colorful decorative items. Okay. It implies beautiful rainbow had come up at the venue on that day, option A. All the dignitaries were dressed up in rich, vibrant attires for that special day, option B. People of all races and colors exhibited unity and solidarity by attending the ceremony together. Option C. South Africans had decorated the entire venue with colorful decorative items. Option D. Actually, option C is the correct answer, and therefore you would be choosing option C, that is, people of all races and colors exhibited unity and solidarity by attending the ceremony together. And not only this, two national anthems were also sung on that very important day. Right? Question number 14. Again, extract based. Out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long, must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. What do you think is the tone of Mandela's speech? Right? Let us read the question again. Uh, out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long, must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. What do you think is the tone? Again, focus at the word tone of Mandela's speech. So, one thing becomes clear, this extract has been taken out of Mandela's speech, right? So if the extract has been taken out of Mandela's speech, so we have to think about this, okay? Option A, hopeful and determined, was the speech full of these two positive features, futuristic and doubtful, okay? Expectant and imaginary, hopeful and again imaginary. Children, if you've already been told in the question, right, that this is a part of Mandela's speech. So Mandela's speech, you can say, must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud, does not indicate doubt. Futuristic is a bit, you can say, something that can be considered, but doubtful, no. Imaginary, also, no, right? Again, because imaginary has been repeated here in the option, in the last one, that is option D. So this is actually option A, that is hopeful and determined. Okay, so the correct answer would be hopeful and determined. Let us move on to the next question, question number 15. Question number 15 has asked you, in the following question, a statement of assertion is followed by a statement of reason. Children, you will be coming across assertion, reason kind of questions as well. And you do not have to panic, as I have told earlier also, you do not have to panic. Assertion is a statement, okay? And reason is something which should be either connected with the assertion or not connected with the assertion, or may be meaningful, may not be meaningful. You just have to develop and locate the relationship between the two statements. Okay, options will be given to you. First, read the statements carefully And next, select the best option out of the choices given. So, what is the assertion? Assertion says apartheid has left indelible wounds upon the people of South Africa. Apartheid has left indelible wounds upon the people of South Africa. Reason: South Africans were discriminated and deprived by the white rulers due to their discriminatory policies. Okay, you are first supposed to read these two statements very carefully. Okay, right? After reading these two statements, these are actually your choices. See, both A and R, that means assertion and reason, are correct, and reason, that is R, is the correct explanation of assertion. Both A and R are correct, but R is not the correct explanation of assertion. Assertion is correct, but reason is not correct. Assertion is not correct while reason is correct. Now, if you look at C and D, children, in C and D, first of all, what is being asked to you? One particular statement is correct, one is not correct. So let us check those statements again. If we read these statements, apartheid has left indelible wounds upon the people of South Africa is correct. It is correct. History bears evidence to the fact, children, that a lot of things have happened in the history of the world which have left indelible wounds upon the people. Whether you talk about the First and Second World War, or you talk about this discrimination policy, or you talk about other such things which had happened, right? Such things have actually left indelible wounds upon the people. So, apartheid also left indelible wounds upon the people of South Africa. This is correct. South Africans were discriminated and deprived by the white rulers due to their discriminatory policies is also correct. Discrimination actually stands for this segregation which is based upon racism, which has got connection with racism. Okay, and apartheid was something, so it was a kind of racial segregation, you see, right? So reason is also correct, assertion is also correct. So if you see, if you look at these two options, that is option number C and D, they do not apply, because in one it is saying reason is, I mean, assertion is not correct, whereas in the other one it is saying reason is not correct, while you have found that both the statements are correct. So we do not have to go for C and D. Let us look at A and B. Both A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation of assertion. Both A and R are correct, but R is not the correct explanation of assertion. If you check those statements again, you will find that there is actually a relationship between assertion and reason, right? Assertion says that indelible wounds have been left upon the people of South Africa, and reason is that they were actually tormented and traumatized by the segregation policies that were being practiced by the white rulers in South Africa for a long period of time. So there is definitely a clear cut and distinct relationship between A and R, and therefore R is actually the correct explanation of assertion, and therefore option A is correct. That is, both A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation of assertion. So here I would like to wind up this presentation, but with a suggestion, children. Look here, when you're reading a particular text, you can in fact incorporate three styles of reading. Read the lines first, okay? Read the lines to get the immediate content. Read between the lines and read beyond the lines as well. That means engage yourself in extrapolation as well. Okay, when you are reading, read actively. Children, if you develop your reading skill, you are definitely going to do much, much better in your examination. And I would definitely, extend my best wishes for your exam. And I would suggest that if you have liked the video, do become a part of our family. Do stay connected with One Marks Solution, wherein you can come across variety of content on variety of subjects. Thank you and have a nice day.